So tell me, what are you working on?
So we're now working on an exhibition and a book called Footprint. And the whole story started with Kat, the director of the Fashion Museum in Antwerp, who asked me many years ago to make a publication on the archives, our shoe archive that we keep here in the museum as on a long-term loan during more than 30 years of shopkeeping, the shoes and the clothes. We always kept a lot of garments and shoes that we thought were interesting to keep and to store and maybe to show later for exhibitions or whatever. So we kept them here. I was not very keen on making a book on this archive. And then Lano, the editor, came and they wanted to make a book on Cocodrillo, the history of Cocodrillo. Again, something I didn't like to do. But then Eddie had the splendid idea to mix the two and to say, why don't we recount our story by going back to the designers we used to sell and interview them and mix them up with the shoots of the archive, the shoes we kept in the archive also. So, and then I put Dodi on it because I wanted to make it young. I wanted to make it today. And he came with the idea, the concept of the name Footprint in 2 words. The next question was, because I always want to start a book with the cover, because the cover inspires us a lot for what is in the content of the book. And so his question was, what is the most important footprint you ever had in the history of Cocodrillo? It was obvious. It was a tabby boot of Martin Margiela. Recognizable still everywhere. You only see the footprint and you recognize the shoe. And it's a type of shoe which is very exceptional. We still keep on selling that shoe. It's more than 25 years.
Really?
That we keep on selling that shoe. So I contacted Martin for that first, to have a bit of his authorization. And he immediately replied that he was honored and that he was agreeing completely to cooperate on it. So Martin is one of the interviewees for the book also.
Do you see his face?
No.
We all know what he looks like now anyway.
Yeah, but I want to be respectful to his concept. And also the idea, the interview we did it like this. We did it by mail because we wanted to stick to his kind of vocabulary.
Was it a fax?
No, a mail. I don't have a fax anymore, darling.
He's moved on.
Yes.
I remember when you had to get a fax.
No. And so then, of course, the editor wanted very much to have an exhibition linked to it. On that moment, I was working on the Dries van Noten exhibition, also for the MoMu here.
It's beautiful, by the way.
Thank you.
I love it.
And I thought, oh no, not an exhibition immediately after that, but okay, give in, because we shared some of the elements of the scenography and so on and so on. And also there again, the idea of the exhibition will be different from the book. The book will not be the catalog of the exhibition. The concept of the exhibition is we selected 600 shoes, all the kind of shoes that amazed us and still amaze us now.
Great.
So it will be a lot about emotion. Something I think which is missing in fashion today. We're talking too much product. We need to bring back emotion, I think. So there again I went to Dodi and I said, you make me a kind of a very strong and a very contemporary young scenography.
Yes.
And so that's what he did. And you will see, as we are only showing shoes, no garments, we don't show silhouettes, we only show shoes. So Dodi came up with an idea of confronting the shoes and presenting the shoes with backgrounds, film sequences, installations, which will bring out the emotion we feel when we see this kind of shoes. You see? So it will not be an exhibition on the technical advantages of shoe or the technical development or the historical background or nothing like this. Purely emotion. And sometimes we will have divided the exhibition in teams, or sometimes by the name of the designer, because some designers have a style which is very scenographic. I think If you see, for instance, Pierre Hardy, all his these geometric decorations and the geometric styles, the sculpting of his shoes, is fantastic for showing in an exhibition. So this is, for instance, one of the designers will have his own vitrine on his own, not linked to a team, especially. You see. And somebody else is, of course, Manolo Blahnik, because he's an icon for me, Manolo Blahnik. The story of Manolo Blahnik is we never sold his shoes, but I was raised in, when I was a young guy, I lived in Ostend. And back in that time, Ostend was the link to England, to London, because we had the ferries going from London to Dover, from Ostend to Dover.
I took it.
Yeah. So England was very close to us, and I'm now talking prehistory. I'm talking pre-cable television. Mm-hmm. So the capture of television was by antenna, and we could capture BBC television, Top of the Pops. Incredibly important, because this was the first link we had with fashion, was Top of the Pops. I explained to young people, Top of the Pops was a music magazine, weekly, which brought all the hit parade, but then with clips already a little bit, but with live performances in the studio, with public. So you could see David Bowie performing, for instance. That was Top of the Pops.
Sure.
And I explained to young people, we didn't have fashion magazines for young people. The fashion magazines were the record sleeves. That's where the fashion was. So very important, this link to London, and of course, 70 years, we took the night boat to Dover, the train to London, and we came back the night after with the train and the night boat again. So London was a bit of our playground. And in that time, David Bailey had a newspaper called Ritz Magazine, which was an equivalent of Interview magazine in London, but then in New York, but then in London. And in that magazine, I discovered a whole page of drawings and collage by Manolo Blahnik. I didn't know that name, Manolo Blahnik, but it was the first time that I understood that shoes and fashion could be much more than garments and things to wear, that it had another value also. And then in that magazine also, it was the period of Anthony Price, Roxy Music, all this, you see? So just to situate it a little bit. So Manolo was very important for me. And when we started the shoe store so long ago, we tried to sell his shoes, because we tried to contact him to have his shoes and so on. That it was dealing with his sister, Evangelina, who said, yeah, no, we have no production. There was no production. It was a very small company. We stayed in touch until the moment that his shoes were sold everywhere, London, New York, Paris, you saw them everywhere. And then the production became too big, which means that we had to buy too much to sell in this little store in Antwerp. We're only Antwerp. But we stayed in touch, and that's why when I asked him for an interview, he agreed to meet me, and I stayed the whole afternoon with him. It was fantastic.
Wow, that's great.
So, but that's Manolo, and then Ferragamo and Vivier for us are the two shoe designers who created all the contemporary shoes we're still walking on. When you see them back in time, when they were creating, they were so modern, so visionary in what they did.
Did you meet him, Vivier?
Yeah,
I know he's dead.
I met him at the end of his life. It was fantastic.
Too, with his adopted son.
Yes, yes, who's still alive. And we went together through his book, and he was telling all the stories on his shoes and the people he made it for. So it was a fantastic afternoon we had then. So that's why Ferragamo, Vivier, and Manolo are in the exhibition. Mm-hmm. We never sold Vivier, we never sold Manolo. That's the two exceptions. So the exhibition will be about this mainly: emotion, fashion, of course, creativity, very, very important. We are not talking about the shoe that walks easily. It is not this. It is not this. And we will have historic shoes, and we will have very recent shoes. Designers like G.W. Anderson, Simon Rocha, who make incredible fashion and fantastic shoes, I think.
Who's the designer that makes those shoes for Daphne Guinness?
The Japanese. Yeah, we will have him in also in the exhibition. Yeah, and we will have our icons like Benoît Méléard. You see, who is a very creative shoe designer, but who never managed to make it commercialize it. But his creations are fantastic, and our inspirations I know for instance, Manolo Blahnik. He's has a lot of respect for this designer. For another designer, Patrick Cox, somebody completely forgotten now.
Yeah, he used to be
so,
huge. How did he get so forgotten?
Well, he had to
80s.
stop his business and sold his name. I think it was 10 years ago, 15 years ago, because he said, I contacted him for the book. We had a fantastic interview. So I said, Patrick, your archive. He said, well, when I closed down the business, it all had to happen in a hurry. And he stored all his archives in a warehouse of Elton John. And he said, for 15 years, I didn't enter it anymore. So I said, there's a pity because all these iconic shoes will get lost if you don't do anything. And I asked here Karen, and the museum organized with students from St. Martin's, wasn't it? Yeah, in London, and people from here to open all the boxes and at least to save it. So a lot of the shoes came here now for restoration and for presentation in the exhibition. So that's, for instance, that's how we handled some designers and some collections to find them back again. And another person who is completely forgotten is Romeo Gigli.
Yeah.
An incredible designer who has created his own universe in the midst of another period.
80s.
He was fantastic, and he still is. When I went to see him in his apartment, you entered the world of Romeo Gigli completely. But his archive is lost. His archive is lost. He had to. The name was sold, and this company went bankrupt and whatever. So his archive is lost. It's a pity. Also the garments. So I think it's interesting. The Tokyo Kumagai, a forgotten designer.
I used to wear him all the time.
He was our first success Kumagai in the store.
I loved him.
It was fantastic.
Platform shoes.
It was fantastic.
The best.
It was fantastic. So we have a lot of Kumagai in the exhibition also.
But not platforms.
No, but we have other platforms, very good ones. So this will be the shoe exhibition footprint.
Sounds great.
I hope so.
So what are some of the themes?
You have themes like surrealism, graphic, pop, glamour,
dance,
yes,
futurism, rebellion,
ethnic,
of course, folklore also.
And some others are a surprise. So you will have to wait.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
And the mise en scène, how's it going to be set up?
We're going to respect more or less the architecture as it is now, but we are trying to change it completely in the concept. That's why he picked me, because we want to give it a young approach. You see, so each theme is not visited from the typical point of view, but from a contemporary point of view. You see, like pop or fetish, or everything is, let's say that our aim is to update it.
But without using cliches, because pop will be shown not with Andy Warhol, for instance, or with Roy
That's what I
Lichtenstein.
mean,
We try to avoid to use cliches and bring it on a different way and surprise people, because I think going to see an exhibition now today, you have to take people on a trip, and you have to make people discover and make people think that they come out and then they have lived something. I think that's very important. Even I think the best exhibition is that the credits are there and explain a lot, but that you enjoy the exhibition even without reading the credits.
Exactly.
You see? And that's when I went to see now the Alexander McQueen exhibition in London.
I loved it. Fantastic.
We don't have to make exhibitions anymore. The exhibition has been made.
I agree. I couldn't get over it. It was great.
And you have all the credits, but I didn't read one.
Me neither.
I read the quotes.
Yes.
Because his quotes were so strong.
They were.
And it explained a lot about his personality, I think.
Into the dark, dark tunnel of his life.
Yeah. But you see, I think an exhibition has to be seen in two ways. It has to explain a lot for people who want to learn, or people who want to know the facts, but it also has to have this kind of, maybe not to be understood badly, but this entertainment factor. People have to experience something when they go in an exhibition. And that's what what we try to avoid that to use too many cliches that people would recognize all at once. It's easy when you talk Terry de Havilland and platforms to talk David Bowie, but of course it's again the same story then. You see, so we try to change it.
That's your prime platforms, Terry de Havilland. They're beautiful.
He's good. I went to see him. He's amazing.
I never met him.
Oh, he's a bit. He's quite special for the moment. He lived a very heavy life. You can feel it. You can see.
Drugs and everything. Yeah.
But he made incredible shoes.
They were.
And somebody else that Karen went to see, because for curating the exhibition, Karen, we may not forget Karen. She did an incredible work. And she went to see the most fabulous Jan Janssen in Holland. You know Jan Janssen.
Jan Janssen. I don't think I do.
He's the designer from Amsterdam who invented a lot of shoes that were copied afterwards by big brands.
Also the sneaker with the heels from 72.
Wow.
He will be in the exhibition also. So Karen did a lot of work, and she did all the difficult work, all the bad work that we didn't like to do.
They just choose lots of videos and they are playing around.
Somebody's got to sort it out.
Yeah.
And then they change it the day after.
No.
That's painful. Do you?
No, but not the day after. Come on, don't exaggerate. Not everything. Sometimes.
You can't lie.
From Normal, for example, something about the fetish shoes.
Yeah, maybe. But the thing is also, when you in the beginning you start on an exhibition by we want shoes from this one, from that art, so you start collecting, and then on a certain moment some themes become obvious, or you start creating themes, and then we talk a lot about it with Karen and with Dodi, and we talk and we think and we go through it, and then he said, this one doesn't fit anymore, out. That's why sometimes things go out. Or yeah, it has to make sense. You cannot just show to show and invent a theme and put whatever under it. It's
But sometimes you discover when you're in the archive, you see the link with other shoes, or we have the shoe museum in the south of France from Romance.
Yeah.
We have a big historical collection, and then we saw amazing fetish shoes from the 1900s.
incredible.
And they are with the red sole, and they stand upright. So it's very nice.
Did you send a picture to Christian Louboutin with the red sole?
His shoes will be in the exhibition also.
It's close to it.
That's good.
Yeah. So it was nice for me also, even after 30 years in shoes, it's nice for me also because I still discovered things that I didn't know. Perugia, I know, all these things, but these fetish shoes, for instance, this was a discovery for me. I didn't know that this very contemporary type of shoe existed already back in time.
It's great. When does it open?
3rd of September.
Until how long?
Till Valentine, till February 14th.
Valentine's Day.
Yes, so it's so long.
Yeah.
It sounds great. So you're going to have a big closing party with the
Maybe.
dress.
It's an idea. A closing
why
party.
not?
Rodrigo, you can organize that.
A closing party.
It's your
Valentine's Day. Everybody come in their most exotic, impressive shoes.
On the 14th of February, it's perfect to do.
Red
It's a good
light,
idea.
perfume.
And and also as emotion is an important part of the exhibition.
Yeah, it's very, very important. The word emotion is
That's the
very
key.
important in this exhibition.
Yeah, we want to reinstall. You know, when I was talking to Martin, I said we were honoring each other a bit. And I said, but Martin, you must know that for 20 years, you were for me the high mass of fashion shows in Paris. You were the show we could not miss. I always went, and sometimes it was a fight to get in or to get out again or whatever it was.
Yeah.
But it was incredible, and I'm so happy I have lived all this. But he said, don't you live this anymore? And I said, actually, no. And he said, how comes? And we started thinking together. I said, well, what I miss is emotion now.
Because there is no emotion.
No emotion. It's all
Product.
But I feel in the store that the customer is fed up with this, and I feel the wheel turning. It will come back, I think. Because we must all agree that the fashion system as it is working now cannot survive anymore.
You sound like Lee Edelcourt.
But I feel it already since a long time. It cannot survive anymore. It's over the edge. It has to change, and I hope that young people will be able to come up with a new system or new ideas. I don't say that the existing system will disappear, but it cannot survive as it is now.
No, I think
overproduction, too many clothes, and the system is killing itself, killing its own business for the moment.
It's true.
We are even not talking value anymore.
No.
So
emotion.
I say less
dreams.
and better.
Yes, I do too.
That's what we need.
We don't need fashion pollution, but
fashion pollution. That's a good name.
Yeah,
that's a good word.
I think I coined that phrase.
But that's a good word. Fashion pollution
for the next book.
Yeah, and also something, but maybe we should not.
Do you want
say
me to
this
turn
in
it
public.
off?
No, I can say, but you can make.
Because I don't edit so much.
Okay.